Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Sally, but you might know me as Stamprgrl. Today I am very excited about this brand new, to me, challenge that I found thanks to HamnMule Designs. She's one of the design team members and a good friend of mine, Claire. She is part of the Retro Rubber Challenge. And this is my card. It is for, I believe, is sketch number 228. Let's get started. I actually am very excited about doing this technique. It's been a while since I've done it. I love watercoloring like this. I call it my lazy watercoloring technique. And it is a lot of fun and it is so easy and seriously foolproof. So join me while I show you how to follow the sketch and work with this technique. One of the things that is super cool about the Retro Rubber Challenge is that you actually have to use a retro, vintage, or old, they say at least a year old stamp. I went super old. So here are my papers. First of all, they are from 2009. They are by Die Cuts with a View. It's called Nana's Kitchen. And I am actually following the sketch, but I couldn't remember which way the diagonal line was going, but it doesn't matter because it's still following the sketch. It's just flipped. And here is my stamp. My stamp is by Stamps by Judith. And this stamp is 1997. This was actually one of the very first, if not one of my first stamps. I bought it at the Stamp Shack, which was a local stamp store that I had here. And I miss it so much. So for this technique, I am using watercolor paper, but you could use regular paper. And I am coming with an actually dye-based ink. I am coming with ginger, which is an Adirondack Ranger pretty old ink. And it's a reddish tone for this ink pad. I never understood why ginger was, well, I guess because they call it, I guess ginger. Well, I did stamp. It is not a clear stamp by no ways, but that is not why I'm stamping it with this ink pad. I am actually stamping it with this ink pad to actually use for my watercoloring. Now I'm bringing up a second color, and this one is more of a little bit of a yellow tone. And what I'm doing is every time it gets really red, I go back and grab a little bit of the yellow. And I did smash the metal of my ink pad against to transfer some of the ink into the lid. Then you see me, it's getting really, really red. I'm going back into my yellowish tone. And here I'm leaving it being a little bit red because that's where my shadows are going to be. Now I'm really grabbing, trying not to touch the lines at all because the lines are what it's coloring here. So all those colors are from the ginger original stamp that I did. And I'm trying to stay darker, so keeping just the ginger color and those colors, and then using caramel for the lighter colors. And look how, it looks like I put a lot of effort into the coloring of this. And there was, seriously, you saw me, nothing to it. So you do want to make sure that you're using a dye ink pad. Why? Because that's what it's going to move. A hybrid ink will not move. I was going to bring that pink. I did add some red for the tongue. And then I'm bringing some of the ginger. And you'll see me come back to darken a little bit even more that. And I love the colors. The colors are just perfect. I'm going to use the happy birthday most likely inside, but I haven't decided yet. I do want to use the tiny little birthday cake, like he's holding the cake because his arms are up. Seriously, love the stamp by Judith. And she is still in business. She is a great, great designer. Actually, her daughter, I believe, is the one running the company right now. and she is a sweetheart. You can find them in all the socials as Stamps by Judith. I am bringing my espresso color Adirondack, just bringing them to my silicone mat. The reason that is because I want to add some shadows. Again, nothing fancy. I'm bringing my image so I can see where I'm going to put my shadows, and I'm going to put it wherever is the hash marks. And I'm actually doing tiny little hash marks, but not very, like, not being very conscious of putting it exactly where the previous hash marks were. None of that. I'm just adding shadows here. And I'm going around, adding some definition. But again, the final step is to overstamp over all of this. So you'll see me, I'm adding just shadows here and there. Just making sure that where my shadows are in my image, or where the hash tags are, the hash marks are, that I am adding some of my brown. I am putting back my image. See how it looks like a blob right now, but the magic comes right now. I'm bringing my VersaFine clear in pine cone, and I am going to stamp. I'm going to make sure that I am giving a good impression in here. And here it is. Oh my God. Look at that. It is just amazing. I totally love this technique. It's so fast, and it never seems to like amaze how easy it is to work this technique. I'm bringing a tiny bit of espresso just because I told you that I was going to darken a little bit, so it actually looks like the shadow inside his mouth. And I am trying to get a little bit of a dark color with not too much water. And I am doing bits of pieces of where my shadows would be. I'm doing the nails of the bear because he has pretty long nails. He is adorable, but he is a bear after all. Again, like I said, I bought this stamp set 1997 when it came out. It is a foam rubber stamp. So it's a rubber stamp that is mounted on foam. And here, as you can see, I have pulled the foam out to make it much more easier for me to use in my Misty. And now I'm going to come to color my tiny cake. And for my cake, I'm thinking of a chocolate cake with orange frosting. And that is what I'm going to go with. Here I brought some watercolor paper. And as you can see, this is just unmounted rubber. And I am just putting a little bit of my ATG gun just so it sticks to my Misty. And I am going to color it with a hybrid ink. This one is, I believe, by Simon Says Stamp. And it is a bright orange. And now I'm bringing some of my orange ink pads. Again, since it's a hybrid ink, I can't do this technique with it because it's not going to move the colors. But that is why I'm bringing a little bit of dye-based ink with orange and my espresso, because I said it's chocolate cake, because every bear loves chocolate cake. And I am going to color the frosting orange, and then I am going to color the rest of the cake in a brown. So you can see me, I'm just pulling with a wet brush, just a little bit of my orange, and now I'm going to bring my brown, and it's super light, which I did not like at all. So you can see me, I'm grabbing a lot of brown this time. And I love how this technique, sometimes it does this with the hybrid inks, which is it darkens the color, which is super cool. And this is my cake. It is super cute. I am going to fussy cut that cake, and later I'm going to add some distress stickles. You could use regular stickles. You cannot use anything. You could do a little bit of diamond glaze. You could do whatever you want with it to make it fun. but I thought adding a little bit of the stickles would be super, super fun for our bear. So that's how it's going to go. He's going to be holding that cake. Now I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, oh, it really looks like two different techniques because my cake doesn't have like the dark lines. So I'm bringing my micron pen 0.01 and I'm just doodling and following the lines. Nothing special. Just adding some darker colors so it actually matches better the bear itself. And I am super happy with how this is looking. I decide that bear is seriously floating right now. And I do not like my animals to be floating unless they're in the water. So I am coming with some blues, some greens, and again, squishing all my ink pads into the lid. That other one, I have to put it in my silicone mat because the lid is really, really high. So I am bringing this bright green and nothing fancy, just using my round brush, and I am adding kind of like a wash around him. I'm making sure that on the other side I stay at about the same horizon line as I did on my right side. And now I'm bringing a darker color, that darker green, and I'm just tapping to add some gradients. And I'm gonna let this calm down and dry a little bit. I am not cleaning up my green because I'm gonna come later to add some details and some like blades of grass. So now I'm working on the sky, and I am actually, what I'm doing is kind of like a wash, but I'm leaving white the area where I want to make them feel like clouds. Okay. Super, super simple. Now I'm bringing a little bit of the blue from the lid directly because it's going to be more concentrated, and seriously just dabbing where there is already water. So I'm not doing it in the part that is white where my clouds are. They're just around, and I actually love how this turned out. Super cute, super simple, but he is adorable. Again, coming back with that darker green, I'm adding a few little tiny bits of grass here and there, and you'll see me do this again maybe later because I love detail. I love that contrast of the dark against the lighter color. I am going to be bringing the espresso soon just to add a little bit of a shadow because he has that paw all the way up and wrist. He has his paw all the way up, and that is going to create and cast a shadow. I did dry my piece because to add this bit of shadow that I want to make sure that my green was nice and dry. We're having some of that espresso and then just adding it, and that was a lot of water. So you see me how I immediately picked it up, and I actually love the way it looks. It is a little bit lighter than I expected it, but I really like it. And here's my cake. He is looking adorable. And I am 100% fulfilling the sketch, the retro stamp. I even use retro paper for this. Here is where I'm bringing the distress glitter glue. Yeah. And I love it. I love it. Adding bits of my white gel pen. If your gel pen is not running correctly, like it's a little bit stuck, just scribble on your hand. The oil from your hands is going to make that little ball pen move so much better. Adding some highlights into the nails, a little bit into the hash marks, the tongue, the nose, the ears, just to add some extra definition to like little shine of the eyes and to my cake without touching my wet glitter glue. I'm coming with my ATG gun to add this panel into my card front. And this is a top fold card, which I don't do many of them. I should do more. And I am adding tons and tons of tape in here. The reason why is because this is a watercolor paper. It's watercolor panel, and I have added quite much amount of water in here. So I want to make sure that it stays down and it doesn't curl up on me. Bringing my cat scrappiness bone folder in now to put I am desperate to finish this. I wanted to see finished because I am so excited about it. So I am adding a little bit of foam tape, and I'm going to grab my cake and try not to touch the wet glue. And here it is. I love it. But then I decided, I feel like this card needs a few flowers where all that green is. So I did add, as you can see in the final, little bits of bling as my little flowers. And my card's done. I really hope that you enjoy this card. And if you do, please like and subscribe. And remember, don't leave their crafting for tomorrow. Start today. Bye.